What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? It's your boy 49er Dion here, back with another video. So, man, we got to get started. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, people, let's get right on into it, man. So, basically, what I've decided to focus on is, in our bye week, pretty much. Not going to get in here and be frustrated about all the things the 49ers aren't doing and all the things that we would like them to do. What I'm going to focus on, honestly, is next year. I'm going to focus on the free agents in this video. We're going to go over them. We'll go over a couple of guys that we want to keep. Pretty much, if I don't name them, they ain't staying. So I'm just going to go over the free agents that we already have. Then I'm going to go ahead and jump on over to the guys that we actually should keep out of this list. So I went ahead and did things section by section, little by little, basically for us to be able to go over these things. So that way we could kind of we can show everybody exactly what it is. So, hey, what's happening with you, Roy boy? Appreciate you, brother. I know you be working, man. Roy boy, you out there hustling, grinding, earning that paper. So the first thing we're going to start with is the offensive line. So we have Trent Williams, Tom Compton, Ben Garland, Hroniss Grasu, Daniel Brunskill, and those are the guys that are the free agents on the offensive line. Now, here's the thing about that. Out of all of those guys that I named, we probably want to keep at least three. So we definitely want to re-sign Trent Williams, but we did give him the option when we went ahead and re-upped his paperwork that, hey, what's going on, Matt? When we re-upped his paperwork that we would not franchise tag him. So Trent does have the option to go elsewhere. We all are, Matthew. We all feel that same way. So basically, with that being said, we still want to re-sign Trent because we need a left tackle. We've got to keep Jimmy protected. And the reason I say we got to keep Jimmy protected is because, technically speaking, the only way we get rid of Jimmy is if we cut him. Jimmy has a no trade clause next year. And basically, if he vetoes that trade, there's nothing we can do. If we say, hey, Jimmy, we're going to trade you to Detroit Lions for a first-round pick, Jimmy can go, no thanks. So that's how that works. So we need to get Trent re-signed. Tom Compton, chucking the deuces. Goodbye. Nobody wants you here. You suck. You're a horrible right guard. And I have no idea why you're starting at right guard and Daniel Brunskill is the center, but that's a conversation for another day. So with that being said, we now have Ben Garland. Now, Ben Garland was a great backup center, and Ben Garland did a wonderful job in his stead while Weston Richburg has been sitting on IR earning a ton of fucking money that we should never have paid him. I'll get to that, Matt. But basically for right now, I say at a bare minimum, cut Weston Richburg, keep Ben Garland. And I know that Ben Garland is injured and we probably won't see him pretty much the rest of the year. But Ben Garland is better than, he's been there in Weston Richburg's stead. And at the same time, he presents as a viable option that's not so more cheap. He's way cheaper. That's what it is. John V, what's happening, brother? And I think that we are definitely going to be able to make sure that we get these things rolling in the right direction if we just go ahead and give Ben Garland some money. He's not going to cost us as much. It's going to be a lot less. And we have a cap that's going to be crap next year. So Trent Williams is going to demand a lot of money. And if we don't give it to him, someone else will. So you got to think about it like that. And then if you keep Weston Richburg there, though I like Richburg's command of the offense, I'll get to that too. It's kind of messed up, man. And Matt, he tweeted that his season was over. Burrow himself, that is. But at the end of the day, I think that you can replace Weston Richburg because he's never there. He only played 20 games in the 3 years that he's been here. 3 years, if you're not very familiar, what is that? 16 times three? That's a lot more than 20. Guarantee you that much. You know what I'm saying? So 16 games in the season, you ain't even barely played a season and a half. You know, so it's definitely a crazy situation, and basically it's a situation where we have to be mindful. Aronis Grasu did a really good job for us playing in for Ben Garland, who got hurt. He didn't do too bad. I liked having him in there, and I liked having Brunskill. So I think if you keep Grasu and Ben Garland, then you're set. You got a backup that's a viable backup, and then you have a dude who can start. Call out to protection, do the things that we need to do. He already knows the offense. We don't have to train somebody new. Daniel Brunskill. He is a what we call a exclusive rights free agent. Basically, that means he's played less than 3 years in the league, and basically you got to get with us, Dan. So Brunskill, I think, will most likely stay. We'll probably re-sign him too. So I think out of all those guys, really, we just want to get rid of Tom Compton, and hopefully if we get rid of Weston Richburg because he's just been sucking up cap space and, wasting our time, not even being there, it's just a waste, you know what I mean? And no, we do not have D Ford back next week. Matt, if you have a link to where you got that information, by all means, please let me know. I've heard nothing on D Ford. Sherm, yes. D Ford, no. But D Ford, from what I'm hearing, is possibly going to actually wind up retiring just based off the injuries. Just there's nothing anybody can do. So we'll move on. Tight ends: Jordan Reed, Ross Dwelley. With the way that things are going, you want to re-sign Jordan Reed, and you can probably get him for dirt cheap. You can probably let Ross Dwelley walk because as long as Kittle comes back fully healthy, what you can do is you can, at a bare minimum, give Jordan Reed a nice little contract. And anytime you have certain run plays and things of that nature, that's when you put George Kittle in and you leave Jordan Reed on the sidelines. You can run a double tight end set with Jordan Reed and George Kittle. That would be killer because Reed is an extremely great route runner. Kittle's still coming along, but he's the best tight end in the league as far as from a blocking and overall perspective. So if you have those two dudes on the field, man, he's just terrorizing defenses. Because there's not going to be a linebacker, a safety, or a defensive back that's going to be able to cover either one of them. I have yet to see it. So you want to let Dwelley walk, and you want to go ahead and keep Jordan Reed. That's just how it works. Jordan Reed's just a better option there. I like Dwelley. He's a nice person, good human being. But at the end of the day, I think it's a better situation for us to just keep Reed because of his potential, because of the level that he plays at. He's such a spectacular player, and he can make big plays. And we all know Ross Dwelley hasn't really done much of anything for us this year. So, moving on. Juice. I know I said earlier this year when we went ahead and stashed this kid, Josh Hokett, on the practice squad, that we would go ahead and possibly, if the kid came along, Josh Hokett, that we would actually go ahead and say, okay, you know what? Then we'll go ahead and let Juice go, and we'll keep this kid, Josh Hokett, because of the price tag. Now, fullbacks don't get paid a ton of money. We paid Juice probably more than he was going to get anywhere else. Fullback is kind of a dead position in the league, but the thing is, Juice is a Swiss Army knife. He can run, he can block, he can catch, and he is part of the engines that makes this offense go. And our offense has to have a fullback in there for Shanahan's offense to work the proper way, especially with a ton of the plays that he runs, because Juice does so much. So for me, with Juice, it's a toss-up. Either they feel that they're going to find this kid Hokett and he's going to go ahead and take over, or they just re-sign Juice. But they kind of tell him, look, man, we don't have the money to be paying you big money. Are you willing to stay, at this rate? And if he gets an offer elsewhere, he can do what he wants. He's an unrestricted free agent. Hopefully, we can get him at a decent price and be able to keep him, though. So I say keep Juice. Running backs: Tevin Coleman, Jerick McKinnon, Jeff Wilson Jr., JaMycal Hasty, and Austin Walter. Now, Hasty and Austin Walter are also exclusive rights free agents, so they basically got to either work with us or not work with anybody if we don't just let them go. Austin Walter, I don't see him being in a situation where we probably stick it to him and say, hey, you got to stay here, unless randomly he shows up in this next game against the Rams and just goes lights out. And continues that, of course. Hasty, most likely, he'll probably come back because, he ended his season a little shortly on a broken collarbone. Jeff Wilson Jr., you got to love that kid. I'd love to keep him. Excuse me. I say let Tevin Coleman and Jerick McKinnon walk. And here's why. I like Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman does great things. But Coleman's going to fetch a lot of money on the open market. Let him go somewhere and get paid. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Wilson Jr. Love the guy. Great job running. Just got to stay healthy. Got to have the opportunities. And he's going to be cheaper. So I say at a bare minimum, you probably at least keep Jeff Wilson Jr. out of those guys. And most likely you may see JaMycal Hasty back just because of the fact that he's an exclusive rights free agent. But you let Tevin Coleman walk, you can probably let go of Austin Walter too because he's just a practice squad dude. He's only up because we are just decimated by injuries. Yeah, we did almost beat them Ducks, man. We did, Roy Boy. You have a big point there. And Matt, Takk McKinley was a waste of time because he didn't pass his physical. So unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do with that. I would love to have seen him pass his physical, but unfortunately, nope, nada. So that's basically it. Man, and then now we can put Armstead back at DT against it. Well, if we got a viable edge rusher, we can put Armstead back in defensive tackle and get some good push because Armstead is long, his wingspan is enormous, and he can get good push up the middle. The thing is to collapse the pocket correctly and make sure that we don't have guys running around all over us in that backfield because that's our Achilles heel is a running quarterback. So with that being said, we're going to move on. Like I said, Jeff Wilson Jr. is to stay. You'll probably keep Hasty once he recovers from that collarbone. That's usually about an 8-week process. And you see that Jimmy Ward came back. He broke his a little earlier this year. He came back from it. He was okay. Yeah. Sorry, Matt. You got overhyped for Takk McKinley, and he's not here. He failed his physical, so he is not a 49er. We had to waive him. So, moving on to the receivers: KB, River Craycraft, and Trent Taylor. Keep KB in the discussion. The other two, let them walk. I don't really see any value in either one of them. Nothing against the dudes personally, I don't know. But from looking at your play, Trent, you're never healthy. Craycraft, John V said that sounds like a boat, and I have to roll with him on that one. It sounds like a boat. I don't know. I think that's just the case there, brothers. And then for the other one, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's see here. We have quarterbacks. So we have C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins. Please let C.J. walk. Please, let him walk. Go ahead and keep Nick Mullins. Nick may not be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but, you got to let him go. You got to let him go. That's definitely the case. We should have never jumped up to draft CJ because he was going to be there. And Kyle Shanahan has done this several times. He jumps up to draft players based off of some so-called hype that he hears around, another team wanting to go get him. Nobody was about to draft CJ Beathard. Nobody. And wasn't nobody finna jump to grab no damn Dante Pettis. And though I like Brandon Ayuk and what he's doing, Green Bay was not about to draft Brandon Ayuk. They weren't. They were going to draft Jordan Love all along because it makes no sense to me that randomly you have Brandon Ayuk, you have Green Bay sitting there, and then they go, okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to draft Brandon Ayuk to get Devontae Adams some help. How long Devontae Adams been in Green Bay with no help? Been there forever, forever, ever. So I feel like that was still them blowing smoke up our ass. We wasted a bunch of picks, but I mean, at least Ayuk is somewhat turning out to be great. The only reason I say somewhat is because he hasn't. There's just not been that breakout game where you're like, oh snap. There's those flashes and those moments where you're like, this dude is special. Doesn't go down on the first hit. You got to make sure you gang tackle this dude. I love it. But as far as moving on, we go to the other side of the ball, defense. So we have no defensive backs next year, people. Zero, zip, zilch, nada, none. And basically, we have all of our defensive backs as free agents. Richard Sherman, K'Waun Williams, Jason Verrett, Keller Witherspoon, Dante Johnson, Jamar Taylor, Emmanuel Mosley, Ken Webster, all free agents. Now, Mosley and Ken Webster are exclusive rights free agents because they have less than 3 years tenure in the league. But this is what I'm thinking. You keep K'Waun, you keep JV, and you keep Emmanuel Mosley. The rest of them can walk. The only reason that I say Sherm can walk, hey, what's happening with you, Jay? The only reason that I say that Sherm can walk is strictly based on the fact that his price tag is going to be too high. The man is his own agent. He's going to negotiate his own deals, and there's no disrespect to him, but we will not have the money to pay him. Sorry. And I think that Sherm, once again, has not been injured all this time. I think Sherm was fine. They were trying to find a trade partner for him and keep him healthy so that when the trade was initiated, they would say, hey, what's going on? And, hey, is this guy healthy? Yes, he's healthy. Here you go. Boom. Passes his physical. Size, we're good. But unfortunately, that didn't work out because nobody was going to pay, a DB at his age the kind of bread that he was getting. And it's not, like I said, it's not nothing against Sherman. I don't think he's taking a step back, but he's not able to play the man type of defense that we're playing. Sherman is a cover corner. It's what he does, and he does it very, very well. But he's just you ain't covering the fast dudes. You're not covering the Michael Thomases, the DK Metcalfs, the Tyler Lockett's of the world. Those dudes are just very, very harsh, and that's definitely something that we gotta make sure that we get things right. So, as far as Keller Witherspoon, up here ain't right. No point to keep him. Dante Johnson, he's just a filler. I like Jamar Taylor. I honestly think we probably keep him too, just as a backup behind K'Waun, just in case he ever gets hurt again, and he'll probably be real, real cheap. I'm not. I like man defenses, Matt. I always have. I like man defenses where you man up. I don't like zone defenses. Zone defenses have way too many soft spots for you to be able to tear them apart. And you just have to figure out what kind of zone somebody's running, whether it be cover 2, cover 3, whatever they do. And you'll be able to find soft spots in their, in their zone on a constant basis. I like man because basically you have to be with your dude wherever he goes. If that motherfucker goes to the bathroom, you're standing outside the stall. This is how it works. But moving on, I would go D-line. Solomon Thomas, Ronald Blair, Kerry Hyder, Ziggy Ansah, Deion Jordan, DJ Jones, and Kevin Gibbons. Solomon Thomas is gone. Solomon Thomas will not be a 49er next year. We didn't give him his 5th-year option as well. I really wanted to see Solomon try to have a breakout year so he could get paid elsewhere. I really would have liked to. Him tearing his ACL is very unfortunate, but I don't see him winding up on the squad and being with the team next year, strictly based on the fact that unfortunately he has not produced to the level that we would have expected for a number 3 overall pick. Once again, when he was drafted, our scouts were basically saying he's not a fit for the scheme. We don't think this is the guy. Go elsewhere. And what happened? It is what it is. There go John V again, man. He said, just let me put this up here for y'all, man. John B is a cold fool, bro. And John B says Sherm can't tackle the plastic bag blowing in his direction, but I love that motherfucker's. You gotta love that, man. You gotta love that, man. Kennard will become a monster eventually, Matt. I know he will. It's going to take him a little time to develop, but it takes everybody time to develop. No, it's extremely rare when you get a dude in the first round and they just automatically take off and become that big star. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But as far as uh, the next guy up, Ronald Blair, would love to re-sign him. Would love to keep him. Um, when healthy, Ronald Blair is a terror off that edge, and he definitely works. He works. He goes hard. Had he not gotten injured last year, it would have been great. I think he had a setback in his injury this year. Hopefully, coming out of his bye, Ronald Blair is healthy and he can get up and go. Because we definitely, desperately need him. If we put Ronald Blair on the field, we'll be perfectly fine. The next guy up, Kerry Hyder. Must re-sign Kerry Hyder. He's been our best defensive lineman all year long. And I think that, we definitely should make sure that he stays just based off his production and what he can do. The man's been a terror and he's been doing everything that he's supposed to be doing, and I love it. Um, Ward Boy, I agree with you. Losing that investor did doom our defense. At least if we still had Nick, and we could have put Kerry on the other side and we'd have been fine. People don't realize that. Nobody would realize that. This defense wouldn't have took that big of a step back had we still had Nick on that other edge and Kerry there. But Ziggy Ansah, we already cut him. He's gone and tore his bicep. He was trash. Deion Jordan most likely walks. He's a free agent. Don't need him. He's been doing all right, but there's nothing spectacular about the guy. DJ Jones. I don't know if we keep DJ Jones or not. That's a if. That's a maybe. I really don't know. I like DJ Jones. He is a great run stuffer. Not super productive in pass defense, but run stuffing he is completely great. Kevin Gibbons, exclusive rights free agent, so he has to work with us. I like Kevin Gibbons. I like what he brings to the table. I want that dude to stay automatically. My opinion on Mitch Wish is a great addition to this team. I still don't like the fact that we drafted him in the fourth round because I think you can get a punter way later in the draft. But Mitch, great punter, and probably one of the very few punters in this league that has a 78 speed rating on Madden. And at the same time, his hitting, his tackling, skyrocketed. He's probably the best tackling punter because he's an Aussie. The boy played rugby. That's a big that's that man come down, lay the hammer on you. Moving on, the only linebacker we have that's going to walk is Joe Walker. He will walk. He was just here to, be a filler. He wasn't. There's no real big plans for him with the team next year. Safety. Oddly enough, these two play the same position. Jaquiski Tart and Marshall Harris. So the thing is I think we let Tart walk because we will automatically allow Tarvarius Moore to full boom. Finding a backup for Tarvarius Moore is going to be the question, but I think that they will move on from Tart because he's going to command a little bit more money in the offseason. Hopefully he can get back on the field, and try to give a little something, but I don't know. As far as Marcel Harris, I mean, you can keep him. He's cheap, but Marcel Harris is only good for the run. It's not great for the pass. He gets killed in the passing game. And as a safety, you need to be a dual threat guy. You got to be able to cover and you got to be able to tackle. So that's why I say Marcel Harris walks. Tart walks because of the price. As far as kickers, now with Robbie Gould, we have a club option for 2021. So basically, we can say, stay Robbie, or there's the door. Thank you for your years of service and move on. If we do move on, I'm going to throw a name out there, and you guys probably do know who this dude is if you watch enough YouTube. This kid De La Haye, destroying. on YouTube, Destroying on Instagram. The kid can kick, y'all. If y'all ain't never seen this dude, check him out. DEE Destroying, Strying. And his last name is DeLahaye. Donald DeLahaye. There it is, Donald DeLahaye. He wound up with the Toronto Argonauts, if I'm not mistaken, in the CFL for like a hot minute. I know he has his YouTube. He's really big popping on there. He gets his bread from there, all that. But the man really does want to play football. He works out with Marquette King, who was an NFL punter for the Las Vegas Raiders, formerly Oakland Raiders. But I'm telling you right now, the kid would come in cheap, and he just wants to play football. Plus, he's a versatile piece. He can run routes. He can do other things, man. I think, honestly, the man needs a chance. And if we decide to move on from Robbie Gould, instead of going out there and getting ourselves a veteran, it's going to cost us money, get this kid, pay him the minimum, and let him live out his dream, man. He wound up for his story was very unfortunate. Because he made his YouTube and started making money, man, they pulled this college scholarship, which to me is BS. Because they make so much money off of these kids in college, and they don't wind up, allowing them to be able to, capitalize off any of those funds. You know, you got all these people buying jerseys, coming to games, doing this, doing that, and y'all make tons of money off us. We don't see a dime out of that. To me, that's crap, but if we do, that's the guy. This long snapper, Taybor Pepper. I think we can find another long snapper. If you guys don't remember, we had an issue with our long snapper earlier in the season, Kyle Nelson, because Kyle Nelson was just screwing up and we couldn't do anything. With what he was doing. What do y'all going on over here? Let's see. Yeah, Tarch 2 injury prone, that's true. But hey, look, man, this is Kyle we talking about. Kyle does crazy shit in the draft. We all know that. We've been knew that. Kyle been doing crazy shit in the draft for years. Ever since he been here, man. That's just how it was. But let me put this up here for bad, man. He off the chain right now. Titus is consistent, but I like his name and his face. No homo. Oh man, I love you guys, man. Y'all keep me going. All right, so basically that's it, man. The exclusive rights free agent is any player with fewer than 3 accrued seasons and an expired contract. If his team offers him a 1-year contract and the league minimum based on his credited seasons, the player cannot negotiate with other teams. So that's why I say we got a couple dudes who basically got a reign on them. Now, I was watching the Nothing But Niners show. Shout out to my boy Dre. And there were a couple of people, there was one guy that kind of put up a thing saying the FCS had, most guys that went to the Super Bowl. So what I did was I decided to look up what college has produced the most Super Bowl winning QB. Alabama has produced Joe Namath, Bart Starr, and Kenny Stabler. Purdue, Drew Brees, Bob Griese, and Len Dawson. Now, then I looked up the conferences ranked by Super Bowl wins. So, the Independent Conference has 11. Joe Montana at Notre Dame. Jeff Hostetler had 2. Brad Johnson has 1. Johnny Unitas, Joe Theismann, and Brett Favre, as Paul Tagliabue called him once, actually, a.k.a. Brett Favre. The Big Ten has 10 Super Bowl winners. Actually, I believe it should be 11 because Brady has 6 rings, not 5. So Brady has 6, Bob Griese has 2, Drew Brees has 1, Len Dawson has 1, Russell Wilson has 1. Pac-12, Jim Plunkett, John Elway, Troy Aikman with 3 of them, Mark Ripken, Nick Foles, and Aaron Rodgers. All those guys have 1. The number 4, the Southeastern Conference, has 8 in total. You got Bart Starr with 2, Eli Manning with 2, Peyton with 2, and Joe Namath and Kenny Stabler. And then it says the Gulf States Conference. All four from, of course, Terry Bradshaw because he went to, I think, Louisiana Tech. So it's crazy. I think that, if we want to get something, man, I think we need to go ahead and find ourselves, a nice quarterback out of the Pac-12 or the Independent Conference because, of course, Notre Dame came up with Joe Montana and he gave us 4 rings pretty quickly there. But we really got to do something here, man. Our free agents next year, we have 41 total free agents. That is a lot of people leaving the team. A lot of these guys are guys that we're not going to miss. We're not going to be worried about. But some of these guys are guys that will hurt if they left and leave us in really, really dire straits if we can't get the money to pay them. Let me take a look at these comments here. If I was the head coach, if you were our head coach, how do you think we would do? To be honest with you, man, my mindset when it comes to that, if I was ever a head coach in the NFL, I can tell you right now with the pieces that we have, we'd be winning. If you gave me Shanahan's mind and his knowledge, we'd be winning. There wouldn't be a way we would lose. Because you know what I would do? I would see the stupidity and I'd eliminate it. I see that Hieronymus Grasu needs to be on the field and Daniel Brunskill needs to go back to guard. Tom Compton has no business wearing an NFL uniform. I would see that Jerick McKinnon is slow, outdated, and he has no burst in his legs anymore. And I would have put in JaMycal Hasty. And if Hasty got injured, I'd have put the kid Austin Walter in there, gave him a couple of runs to see what he could do. You know why I put in Austin Walter? Because we don't have anybody else healthy. And at the same time, the kid's hunger is there. You just came up from the practice squad and you are in an actual live NFL game. You get to showcase your skills. You want it. You know you want it. So what happens? You go out there and you perform. You work hard. You bust your ass in every which way possible. You know what I get out of it? Production. And then basically when it comes to our receivers, I'm not going to throw River Craycraft on the field. Craycraft can go sit somewhere else. I don't need that. Kevin White has too much size and height and body, and I know he's the most injury-prone receiver in the world. And forget it. I'm throwing him out there to the Wolves. White, some routes, get out there and run him. Until he gets a full grasp of the offense, I'm going to give him some simple things to do and make sure he knows how to run them and make sure I get production out of him. But for me, if I was ever a head coach, I think we would be winning, especially with the pieces that we have. But I would have went in a different direction for a lot of different things. You got to love playing for your coach because at the end of the day, your coach is going to determine how you get your paycheck. And if you are able to be able to go ahead and do so, then you want that. You want to make sure that you are getting that on a consistent basis. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that these guys are happy and that they love coach and that they'll do anything for him. To be honest with you, Matt, it is a little bit of rocket science because you have to understand how to get the best out of the players that you have. And sometimes you have to figure out what the best in those players is. You got to figure out how to tap into their potential. You have to figure out what motivates them. Case in point, Dante Pettis. You can't even coach Dante Pettis. Why? Because he's going to cry. You're going to yell at him. He's going to break down. He's going to want to go home and play with his kittens and bake some fucking cookies and take a picture or something. You know what I'm saying? Instead of getting on the field and understanding that being coached hard only means that you have the potential to be great, but sometimes I have to push it out of you because you're not giving me all. That's what hard coaching is. You know what I mean? And it will basically either make or break you. And that's just how that works. And you have to have the drive and the will and the want instilled in you already. And sometimes you can have a coach that can tap into you, that make you, push it to another level that you didn't even know existed. And that, that makes it a whole different situation, but coaching is definitely not easy, man. You have different people, different personalities, so many things you have to work with, so many different things you have to do. Guys getting upset because they're not getting PT, all kinds of things, man, all kinds of things. But what I'm saying is, as far as these free agents next year, man, we got to keep a couple of key guys. And we got to make sure we get these guys signed get them enough money to a point where they're not upset, even if we do it on one, on a 1 year, on a couple of 1 year deals, just to be able to try to make it back to that Super Bowl. I don't know. I really don't know of other teams. And the thing is a lot of these free agents aren't really, guys that we're really going to need. So, like, I can look over here and tell you as many. We have 41 total, but I'll tell you right now. So, for me, just what I'm thinking, guys, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's it. There's about 15. Out of those 41 people, I'm only seeing 15 people that we keep. Because a lot of those dudes, like, are just guys that are just plug and play. And they're not going to be here. They're not going to really produce for us. They're not going to give us what we need. So for me, my honest opinion is to make sure that we get everything done in the right selection and we get everything done in the proper, in the proper manner for us to be able to spend as little money as we have and get as many players out of it as we can and be able to get as much production as we can to be able to push to get back to the Super Bowl. We're in the most competitive division in football. There's not another one like it. So we must make sure that we can do it. No, I don't think they can go 16-0. No. Not by any stretch of the imagination are we going 16-0. It's just not possible. It's not. You're going to lose a game. And if you don't lose a game and you wind up like the Patriots, you get all the way to the Super Bowl, you lose the big game, all of that is for naught. I don't like 16-0 teams because basically you're riding high on that. I loved last year when we wound up 8-0 and we were just balling and taking it game by game, day by day, bit by bit. But I don't think it's going to work. What do you think about the Steelers being tempted? The Steelers are balling. That's what I think. They balling. They're doing what they need to do. If Alex Smith continues to play, he could definitely win Comeback Player of the Year. And the thing is the one thing that you got to start thinking, one thing you have to remember in this league, and I'll say this is because people love a story. Alex Smith's story is ridiculous. Like it's if you didn't watch the ESPN piece on him, man, like the whole situation was just crazy. Like he went through basically somewhat of a Trent Taylor situation, and I state this because of the similarities and how things played out. Trent Taylor got that foot repair, wound up didn't work out, got an infection. He did it again, got another infection. Like Alex Smith basically almost had his leg from the knee down taken off, like a couple times, because there was an infection that wound up being in there, man, and the man came back and played. And I appreciate Alex for what he did for us. I never was down on Alex Smith. You can't change offensive coordinators every year and think that you finna become a winner. You know why? Because I guarantee you, if you did that to Brady, you did it to Manning, you did it to Drew Brees, you did it to Eli Manning, you did it to Phillip Rivers, all these dudes, you would not in any way, shape, or form see those guys turn out to be the guys that they are and the winners that they were, strictly based on the fact that they couldn't even stay in one damn system the whole time. It wasn't fair to him. I think that he was very unfairly judged by the 49ers faithful. It was really harsh. Yeah, man, that's funny. Offensive Rookie of the Year is a toss-up, man. I don't know because I haven't really been paying too much attention to the offensive rookie. Honestly, if we can get on a roll, you could sneak in and steal that. I'm just gonna say that. If we get on a roll and we can get some games going and get it balling and getting things going, in the right direction, Nick Mullins gets a firing that ball off. That line gets to be more solid. And Richburg can get off his ass and earn his damn paycheck. Brandon Ayuk could sneak in and take that offensive rookie of the year away. You never know. You never know, man. Yeah, but it's a different situation. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, John V always messing with everybody. It's like that. He was just messing with you, Matt. If you took any offense to what he said, don't, man. It's just he was just joking with you, bro. John V is a super good dude, man. That's my guy. Everybody's super chill. But I think that it would be a crazy situation to see it, but Tua could win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's a quarterback. The league loves quarterbacks. What else is new? You know what I'm saying? You can't breathe on him without, doing anything wrong. Although I do kind of feel bad for Drew Brees. That man got several cracked ribs and punctured lung and everything. And all Kentavious Street did was fall on him. But, in the offseason, they were calling Kentavious Street Baby Hercules. So the man is huge. He's a very, very large individual, you know. Yeah, but you know what's funny about the situation with Cap and Alex? It was the same situation with Steve Young and Joe Montana. The only difference is that Alex hadn't won us, 4 Super Bowls, and with Cap, it was just a situation, and I knew how this panned out. Just to touch on that for a second, the way this panned out to me, I saw it coming. Cap came in and he played so damn good. They said, okay, well, we can let Alex sit another week. Just because it's a concussion. That way there's no lingering symptoms. He doesn't go in the game. He doesn't get hit. Doesn't get hurt. Cool. Then Cap came in and balled out again. They didn't expect that. So then Jim Harbaugh said, man, I got to make a hard decision. I either got to bring Alex back in. I got to roll with this young kid that's giving me a dimension of offense we ain't never seen. Greg Roman comes to him probably and goes, hey, man, I can do some things with this kid. This kid can blow him out the box. And what happens? The rest is history. But the reason I say it's similar to Joe Montana and Steve Young is because what did we do with Joe Montana? Trade him to the Chiefs. What did Joe Montana do? Go to the AFC Championship game. He played for a couple more years. He retired. That's how it works. But I think, and then where did we trade Alex Smith to? The Chiefs. He kept his job as long as he could until Patrick Mahomes was breathing down his neck. And I kid you not, it took them one damn big play from Patrick Mahomes to say, you know what, forget it. You need to get Alex out of here. This kid is the future. He won him a Super Bowl already. Rest is history. But, with Harbaugh, that situation was more so him wanting a lot of control. York and Trent Baalke not wanting to do it. You run him out of town, he leaves. The one thing you can't say about Harbaugh, he never had a losing season. Ever. Last season, he was 8-8. And from the moment he walked in the door, he was a winner. A lot of people say he inherited a great team, but Harbaugh came in with the right coaches. If you didn't come in with Jim Harbaugh and you didn't come in with Greg Roman and Vic Fangio, this team wouldn't have been where it was. He brought those names to the NFL, and look at those dudes now. Greg Roman is over there drawing up schemes for who? Lamar Jackson, who reminds you of kind of a little bit of who? Colin Kaepernick. What's Vic Fangio doing? He's the head coach of an NFL franchise, all based off of a friend that gave him a chance. So you got to respect Harbaugh for what he did while he was here. I do. I'm not going to be mad at him. You know what I'm saying? OT on a 29-yard TD. I didn't even see that yet, but I heard about it. Hey, Titans can ball, man. People sleep on them. I know the play for them this year that will live in infamy is what Derrick Henry did to Josh Norman. Dear God, the stiff arm is one of the nastiest moves in the NFL. But when you get lifted off your goddamn feet like that, you will forever become a poster. You posterize for the rest of your life. Josh Norman can probably hardly return to an NFL field without being laughed at and mocked by fans and or even his own teammates and other people. Let's see. John B says Cap dominated the mobile QB role and now it's returned. Yeah. And that's basically the way to go now. You want a dual threat quarterback. Most of these teams are drafting a guy that can do it. It doesn't matter whether you're white or black or whatever. They want you to be able to move around in that pocket just in case it collapses so you can do what you need to do to get the hell out of there. Let's see here. The divisional in 2012 was Cap's best game. Alex couldn't run for 3 TDs. Nah, man, Alex could move, but he ain't moving with Cap's speed. Cap was out there. You gotta remember, Cap had long legs. He looked like he was a gazelle when he was out there running. He was galloping down the field. It was crazy. But that's definitely true. He did that. But the thing is that Cap never could read a defense. That was his biggest flaw. Cap couldn't read a defense to save his life. He was great at what he was doing, but Cap just didn't know how to read defense as well, and he would have never worked in the scheme with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan liked certain things from his players, and him and Cap wasn't going to work out. Just because he wouldn't want to change it up. He would have had to switch back and try to tap into the days when he was drawing up schemes for RG3, and that would have probably worked. But that's why they drafted Kirk Cousins as well, because he was probably sitting there in his dad's ear going, I like this kid better from Michigan State. He's going to be able to run my scheme a little bit better. I see the potential. I know what's going on. That's that. Yeah, no, he'll never be respected after that stiff arm. Yeah, that's true. Jimmy and Cap are similar to progress through those things because of the situation with trying to figure out who goes, where the ball goes, and getting through those reads quick enough to be able to make the right passes and on time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Cap had a cannon for an arm now. Did have a cannon for an arm. Yeah, he does require a bit of a genius. That's very true. You got to be able to know how to orchestrate that offense properly. The one thing that I do like about Kyle is there are times when he can scheme up a plan. He already knows it's a win. All you have to do is go out there and do it. He knows what defense is going. Like, I forget what it was last year, but he literally said to, I think it was the Denver game. He called touchdown. He was like, as long as Kittle doesn't fall down on his plays to TV. Boom, happened. Instantaneous. Is that great? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because then we went through a trash, regime. We had the worst GM in the league. We're just gonna go ahead and make sure that we try to draft whoever we can draft. And we're gonna do what we can do. His first free agency signing was an offensive guard named Zane Beadles. He drafted the dude, and he took the dude as a free agent from the Jaguars. That year, there were a ton of free agents we could have signed. And you signed Zane Beadles, who was trash the whole time he was here. Trash the whole time he was in Jacksonville. Just saying. His track record is horrible. So that's basically what it is. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. John V, I will get with you at least Monday or Tuesday, my brother. What I'm going to do is I'll draw up some things. I'll get at you. I'll hit you up on Twitter. If you are good for Tuesday, we will go ahead and get that going. What we are going to be talking about is a preview for the Rams. Basically, we'll do it Tuesday because we'll see what happens on Monday night. Hopefully, the Bucks go in there and kick their ass, and we can be laughing at them because they lost, and hoping and praying that we can get the window open for us to get another dub. But I'll get at you about that. So the next show, people, will be me and your boy John V. John V will be here, man. We're going to go ahead and talk about these lambs and see if we can't make some lamb chops next Sunday and continue to keep on balling. Y'all stay faithful. Y'all stay blessed. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Shout out to everybody that comes in. Roy Boy, Jay, John V, Matt, everybody that comes in and chills with me and supports me. I appreciate all of y'all, man. And I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a wonderful day.